Harshmeen again, back to my channel again. And if you remember, I showed you that I'll be doing a fight on June 12th, and how I'm doing it, why I'm doing it, I explained that. But the most important person who is organizing that fight is with me today, and I'm going to introduce you with him and his background, what he started, why he's doing this, and all of those stuff. So I hope you like the content. And hi Cairo, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. It's always nice to see you. Honestly, I always get nervous in front of you because the thing is, I respect you a lot. So it's like you're like my main teacher, and when you're in front of your teacher, you're like very nervous.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Thanks for that.
Yeah, I really respect you. And I just wanted to see, who is Cairo?
Just a normal guy, man. A little bit about me. Basically, I'm born and raised here in the Waikato area, a small town just out of Hamilton called Warrior. That's where I was born and raised as a young fella. The boxing side thing kind of come along, like coming from a boxing family. My father boxed, my older brother boxed, and then that was just sort of something that was always around me as a young fella. And so now I've carried it on, and this is where we are at my gym here at Fitness HQ, and I'm just keeping it going now.
Okay. And what experience have you had so far with boxing? Like what kind of, when did you start fighting, and when was your first fight, all of this stuff, and how many fights you have done so far?
So I had a brief amateur career. I think I had about 14 amateur belts, and my first one was when I was 12 years old. And I probably fought in amateur comps right up until I was maybe about 16 or 17. And then I actually went away from boxing for a little while. I had my little when you turn 17, 18, you start getting involved in going to parties, and you start to get friends, and distractions start to happen. So that happened to me. I sort of went away from boxing for a few years and just enjoyed being a young fella. And then I come back at about 20. And when I came back on my second run at boxing, I just got involved professionally. I turned pro at 21, and just sort of blossomed ever since. I've won a few national and international titles. That's what we've got here behind us.
So where did you get all these belts from?
So this one here, I fought an undefeated guy. His name's Nort the Assassin from Siam Boat Champ. So he's originally from Thailand, but he's based here in New Zealand now. I fought him for this title here. The next one along is the New Zealand welterweight title. I fought a guy named Josh Mahino, who that was quite early in my career. I'd only been boxing professionally for about 10 months, and I fought quite an experienced amateur guy in that fight, and I beat him for the New Zealand welterweight title. And then something sort of funny happened. I was called out by a guy in the next weight division above me. So I went up to light middleweight and fought a guy named Brad Milner for the New Zealand light middleweight title. And the one down the furthest end is actually the most recent one that I won, and I beat an Australian by the name of James Torres for that title there. But I fought in Australia, I fought multiple times in Singapore. I've had quite a lot of international experience with boxing now.
Oh, and how many countries have you visited because of boxing?
Ooh, gosh. At least a handful, five or so, about a handful of countries, yeah. So it's been quite a blessing. I've got to see quite a bit of the world through boxing, not just with competing as an athlete. I've actually travelled as a coach as well. So I've gone overseas as a coach and taken some guys overseas for fights as well. So competing and also coaching has allowed me to see the world a little bit.
Yeah, and while you were doing all these fights, were you working as well, or you were just focused on boxing?
Yeah. So in New Zealand, there's kind of not really a lot for smaller weight divisions in terms of fighting professionally. So I could never really make enough money to just box full time. So I always worked on the side, and I've always worked as a personal trainer, which worked out quite well for me because I was able to kind of work in the industry that sort of helped me with boxing. I was involved in the fitness industry, and then that kind of helped me to do boxing. And with personal training, running my own business, I was able to work my own hours and then do my training and fit my training in whenever I could as well. So yeah, running my own business and stuff helped me a lot with my boxing career.
Oh my god. And how did you manage all the training for the boxing? Because for boxing you have to train a lot.
Yeah, well, obviously just like a lot of grit and determination. You know, I set these goals out right from the beginning. Like when I first turned pro, when I first come back to boxing, and after I had my couple of years off and stuff, I came back and I was like, I made these goals that like, right, I want to be like the top in the country. I want to be the number one in New Zealand. So on my debut, I wasn't really even like focused much on the guy that was in front of me. I had the top guys in mind right from the beginning, and so when that happened and I won the New Zealand title, that was basically my goal right from the start, was to be a New Zealand champion. And then I was just setting new goals. You know, once you accomplish that one, just keep breaking barriers, keep setting new goals and going again. And you know, I still have this little inkling, like a little goal of going for a world title. So yeah.
Oh, when are you doing that?
Well, I was actually scheduled to fight for a world title. My last fight actually was for a world title. I don't know if you guys can catch it on the camera, but just on that poster just there, the WBU super lightweight world title. So just open up there. Yeah, so it says here just below us if you were to zoom in on it. But that was my last fight. So I've already fought for a world title once. In that fight, we had an accidental clash of heads which caused like some bad cuts on my face.
Yeah, I remember you were bleeding like anything.
Yeah, like both eyes were badly cut and blood was going everywhere. So that caused the bout to come to a stop, and due to the outcome of the fight, the WBU allowed me to go for another crack at their world title. And so when I was scheduled to fight for that, I was scheduled to fight for that in March of 2020. And then COVID come along, and then when the travel restrictions all happened, it kind of put a bit of a dent in things, and so now I'm just still waiting. There's possibly a travel bubble opening up soon, and so yeah, I still have that goal to go for that world title one more time.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
And so how did this Hit Fitness HQ happen?
Yeah, so while I was personal training, I was working at Les Mills, and also had a little like set up in my garage at home. I had a little ring, a lot smaller than this one here, set up in my ring, and I was doing like a lot of one-on-one clients. You remember at Les Mills, so you would have seen their boxing setup was literally 2 bags.
2 bags.
Yeah. So like I was really limited with being at Les Mills. They helped me out a lot. Like I really they helped me like push me through the fitness industry, and I did do well while working there. But I was kind of limited with the equipment available and stuff, and so then I just took a bit of a leap and took the lease on this building here and set me up a big setup so that, you know, now I can take a lot bigger group of people and yeah, just widen my sort of my net, I suppose.
Yeah, but what happened when you had to start up? You need a lot of infrastructure and money and stuff like that. Where did you end up getting that funding?
So like obviously in the early days of business, as most people know, in the early days of business, it's just a matter of trying to get it off the ground. You don't really make money. Probably for the first 6 months, I was like working lots of like one-on-one clients just to pay the rent here because we didn't have enough memberships to cover the lease of the building. So that first 6 months was just a bit of a grind, a little bit of stress in that on the family, but I was still actively fighting at that time as well. And although like boxing has never really given me an opportunity to just box full time, it was still like a good extra bit of income on the side, like fighting and stuff as well. So yeah, we got through it, and now the gym's like doing quite well. We've an awesome team of people here, a few like up and coming talents, and then it's good to run these like corporate events as well to give like people like yourself the opportunity to just experience what it's like to be a fighter. You know, like I personally believe that everyone should experience it like at least once in your life. Like, as you know, the like roller coaster of emotions and stuff that you have to overcome to just get in there. So I always say like in these corporate matches, like there really is no losers. Like just getting out there and having a crack is really a win in itself because you're like overcoming all these emotions and stuff. So like you're winning regardless.
Yeah, and you're really overwhelmed. I remember how I felt. I was like so scared. When I went into the ring, I was so nervous. I couldn't fight properly.
And
Honestly.
that's exactly it. I give so much credit to like the people like you who do these corporate matches. Like for me, it's a scary thing for me to get in the ring, and like I've been boxing like majority of my life, and it's still scary for me. So like the people like you guys who just jump in there with these like 10, 12-week trainings. You know, it's very, very new. Like you'd have to overcome so much more emotion because it's something that you don't know. For me, I've been boxing all my life and I know what I'm going into. It's still a scary thing. You're never going to kind of go into a fight and think, yeah, I'm sweet, this is cruisy. You always have that little fear factor and nerves and stuff going in. But yeah, for you guys there, it's just full respect days. That's why I say all of the corporate boxers, they're all winning because they're, you know, overcoming things in themselves.
Yeah, honestly, boxing really helped me. Whenever I'm angry, I'm at the boxing gym, punching out.
Such a good stress relief, like.
Specifically, if you're running a business, it's so stressful.
Yeah.
If you come here, I get so much happiness, I can't explain. That 1 hour, 45 minutes we spend here, it's the best day of my life,
yeah,
I would say.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what you mean by that. Like, I'm the same, like when we had like COVID and we had like 6 weeks in lockdown, like I didn't realise that like when people talk about like mental illness sort of thing and struggling a little bit mentally, it was kind of like the first time I experienced it just on a very small scale and like kind of going a little bit crazy like with not doing nothing. So yeah, I'm hooked on boxing, even if like after I've retired and everything's all done, I'll still box just to sort of have that little outlet and just keep myself mentally sane.
Yeah, and when we're talking about corporate boxing now, so how did you start corporate boxing and which, it's 8th or 7th corporate boxing we are doing, the event, Waikato Warrior?
Yeah, so my dad actually started this. My dad was running these corporate events, gosh, way back in 2012, he started doing these. So yeah, this is kind of just a carry on. So they weren't always called, I think he must have run about 20 events, but he was running them in different areas and calling them different names. So this one that we're coming up to is War on the Waikato 7, but he also did like Battle of the Councils where we fought some councils. There's another event that we do in Thames called Chaos in the Coromandel. So there was other events, it wasn't just the War on the Waikato one. The War on the Waikato one is the one that I've taken over, so I run our local one. But yeah, that's just something that's kind of carried on. My dad sort of laid the groundwork up for that.
And how many years it's been you're running that event?
Yeah, I think the first War on the Waikato must have been 2013, and that was the night that I won the welterweight title. That was my first New Zealand title fight, was the first War on the Waikato that we did.
Oh, nice. And this is the 8th one now, if I'm wrong?
This will be number 7.
Number 7, yes.
Yeah.
And how did you manage to get all the fighters and stuff like that? How do you match, and if anybody wants to fight and stuff like that, if we can...
Yeah, so with the like corporate boxing and stuff, we normally just put a bit of an advert out to people basically wanting to challenge yourself. And then we have a few gyms that we sort of work in and with, and we just train a bunch of corporate boxing people. And I go around and kind of watch the people sparring and stuff, and then I can kind of see where the level is at for everyone, just to make sure that the matches are appropriate. When we start this training, I always say to people, like, going into the training camp, I can guarantee you like all the training and stuff is going to be alright, but I can't guarantee everyone's going to get matched, because a big thing for me with these corporate boxing matches is that the matches are matched evenly. Because the worst thing for me, like the best thing for me that would happen is you have a fight, regardless whether you win or lose, like everyone obviously wants to win, but regardless of the result, whether you win or lose, is that you have a good time. Like you've gone out there, the match is safe, the match is appropriate. Regardless of the result, nobody likes to lose, but whether you win or lose, is that after the match you've kind of like achieved something and you've enjoyed the experience. And then you get hooked on boxing and carry on. That's the ideal scenario for me. The worst thing for me that could happen is I put you into a match, you kind of get overmatched, you get absolutely slaughtered, and then you think, oh shit, I better not drop the S-bomb, but you say, stuff boxing, I'm moving on to something else. That's the worst thing for me. So that's why I always like to guarantee the matches are even, is just so that people can have a good experience regardless of the result, and hopefully just stay hooked on boxing. because like no one wants to go out there and get overmatched and get beaten the crap out of out there. So that's a big thing for me is just even matches. Everyone has a good experience, and hopefully you carry on and enjoy boxing.
And I still remember when I was trying to fight for the first time, and you said no, you're not ready, and I accepted that because I know I'm not at that level.
Yeah.
You know it better because you had the experience.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the first event we didn't match you. Yeah. See, well, it's just like for me, it's all about your guys' safety.
Yeah.
And just at that particular time, I didn't feel like you were ready for it. And so just keep training, and then on the next one you fought. So just keep going. Like I'll let them know. Like, hey man, I don't think you should do this one because for me it's all about everyone's safety. You go out there, you have a safe match, you're at a level where you can at least protect yourself, and then you enjoy boxing, carrying like how you do.
Oh, I love it. Still, whenever I go out as well, I make sure I'm training with somebody, so I get a trainer there and they teach me how to do stuff as well. So it's always the best workout I can ever have because it's just my mind works really much at that time, and it's just the best thing is I'm very happy after that.
That's good.
And we also support a lot of I think the amateur boxers and some of the boxers who goes for Olympics, Commonwealth and other events. So tell me about that.
So the amateur boxing scene, I'm really passionate about that actually. So that's kind of like the next generation of talents really. So these guys that are boxing in the amateurs, I've actually got 4 amateur boxers on this weekend. We've got some decent level amateur guys in the gym. There's obviously David Nika, who is, I think he's about number 3 or so in the world. He'll be competing at the Olympics this year. And then it goes all the way down to a little boy named George. He's only 10 years old, and he's another up and coming boy. So the amateurs range have such a big wide range. You've got the little young guys like our boy George, all the way up to guys like David Nika, and then even the in between guys. There's another boy that represents our gym called Caden, and a goal for me ideally is to try and push him towards the Commonwealth Games team. So at the moment he sits at number 2 in New Zealand, and we're just trying to push it, keep working towards getting that number 1 spot, and then once he gets that number 1 spot, then we can try and get him towards the Commonwealth Games as well, and take that road as well. But there's some awesome talent coming through. That's real exciting for me, on the coaching side of things, just seeing these guys develop.
Yeah, and on the same side, I see you are going to all the events as well when they go for fighting, and you go there as a support to them. Yeah. You don't get paid for that.
Nah.
But
so the amateur,
why do you do this?
It's just passionate. I'm just passionate about that. Yeah. So those events, I just go there to support the guys. That's just the coaching role that you take on. Really, is just being there for your team and helping them get through these matches and stuff. So that's something I took on. I agreed to that way back when I took on this coaching role, and I enjoy it. I'm passionate about it, and even through this time of COVID and stuff where I haven't been able to compete, I kind of get my little competitive fix through them. So I've got a real bad competitive nature, and it's it's been a blessing for me really. I just can't lose at anything, whatever it is. Which has helped me as a competitor, but then it also helps me as a coach because I obviously want these guys to do real well, and so it just urges me to do the best I can to make them the best that they can be.
Yeah.
So
And what about your family? Who all are there in your family?
My wife, I got 2 little boys, aged 11, nearly 12, and my little fella Floyd. He's around somewhere, but he's just turned 7. And Floyd is actually named after a famous boxer, so just up on the wall.
Over there, I have seen that.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather. So my little fella Floyd is named after the boxer Floyd Mayweather. So we're a bit of a boxing family.
Obviously, and do they box as well?
Yeah, so my big son does my kids' boxing classes. The little one kind of jumps in here and there, but he's kind of a little bit young at the moment, and. I'm probably going to lose him to rugby actually because he's really passionate about rugby. Yeah,
I saw in your stories he's getting good awards as well.
He gets awards and stuff. He's actually a decent player, so I'm probably going to lose him to rugby, but it's alright.
And what about your elder son?
He's really probably more passionate about swimming. So like he actually really enjoys swimming, and so yeah, like he's more into the swimming stuff. He does the boxing stuff, but I can kind of tell it's not really something he's passionate about. But both boys, like at the end of the day, even if they don't choose not to take that boxing role and be competitors, I think that it's just a good thing just to have, like, not only for like self-defense, but also like what we talked about before with the whole mental health sort of thing, just working out and keeping yourself fit just helps with like mental health as well.
Yeah, even I didn't realize that how much weight I've lost since I'm coming here.
Yeah,
and then,
some photos.
Yeah, and then I've gained weight, and then I'm back again, I lose again.
Yeah.
So that's the best workout as well.
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to come into your gym, what is the best way to do it?
Yeah, so probably our main source of like advertising at the moment is social media. So we're on Instagram and Facebook at Hip Fitness HQ on both. And yeah, that's the best way to come down. We've got our timetable on there, so either flick us a DM on Instagram or Facebook, and we can link you up with a free trial and come down and try it out.
We will put the links on the YouTube video as well for you, and also can we leave your number there?
Yeah, that's sweet.
Perfect. And how much does it cost for the?
So our memberships for adults is $25 per week. That gives you unlimited access to all of the classes that we have, and we also have 24-hour access here as well. So you get full access to classes and full access to the gym as well with your membership. Unlike most gyms where you have like fixed term contracts, like 6-month or 9-month or a year contracts. Some people, I think Les Mills even does 3-year contracts.
Yes.
Yeah, so unlike that, we have like no fixed terms. I feel like if someone's finished with your service, you shouldn't try and hold them in. So we have a thing there where you can kind of cancel at any time, because you shouldn't be trying to keep people in that don't want to be there anymore.
And if somebody wants to come for trial, how many days trial is allowed?
2
days?
Yeah.
And what about kids?
And our kids membership is $15 per week, and you don't get the 24-hour access being a kid, obviously. Yeah, but yeah, you get the classes and stuff.
And do we run any holiday program for kids?
I just keep going the same training times that we do during the school term. I keep them going through through the holidays.
And do you have any plans to do any holiday program for kids in the near future?
Yeah, it could be an option. Yeah, like I definitely wouldn't say no. Like I know there's definitely a market for it. Like people are always looking for things for their children to do over holidays. I'm the same. Like I'm always trying to find things for my kids to do in the holidays. So yeah, that could be an option. Yeah, I'll look into something like that.
Yeah. I just have one more question. What 5 suggestions, intakes, practical thoughts, or something you want to share with the audience? 5 takes from Cairo George.
5 takes?
Not from the business, not from the boxing, but Cairo George.
So 5 takes, so what do you mean by this? Just 5 little
like
tips?
Like maybe, tips, thoughts, anything.
Tough times don't last, tough people do. So basically the thing behind that is just, when you feel like things are hard, just carry on. Consistency is key. You have those days where you can't be bothered getting up in the morning and carrying on your day. Keep going, just get through it, because eventually you're going to break those barriers. Eat well, because the whole saying behind like you are what you eat is a real thing. Like you go and eat some fries and some crappy food, that's just how you're going to end up feeling. You're going to end up feeling like crap. Time management. Okay, so this is probably like a little bit embarrassing, but I schedule in at lunchtime like a nap time. So like I book in my PTs and I avoid this little space in my day to just go down, even if I don't fully fall asleep, just for me to just go and lay down. And I just feel like that time's very important for me. I have like real early starts in the morning and I have real late finishes in the afternoon, so I schedule out a little time in the middle of the day just for myself. So I feel like people should do that with their time management. Number 5, be organised. For me, I'm always at training at least 30 minutes or so before training to get my reps on, my drinks ready, my gear's all ready, I've stretched, I'm warm. So yeah, just being organised. You rush in 5 minutes late and try can't get ready at this. Yeah, like
That's
me.
usually me.
Yeah. So yeah, just being organised, and yeah, that's 5.
Yes,
Yeah.
we got it. And I would request you to say to the viewers, please subscribe my channel.
Yeah, please subscribe to Harshmeen's channel. Loving the work that you're doing in the business. Stuff
Thank
and
you
that.
so much.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me on today as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, and it was really nice meeting you. And honestly, this interview was really important for me, and I was damn nervous, and I'm sweating like anything because of you don't understand this. A teacher in India is respected like anything, and when I say a teacher, it's like God for us.
Oh, okay.
So I actually get really nervous in front of you because of that. Whenever you see me, I don't talk in front of you just because I'm very nervous all the time. But obviously, I respect you like anything, and whenever you give any feedback or anything, I always take it on. So thank you
Appreciate it.
so much.
Thank you. We got there.
Yes, we got there.